I'm going to present you Filecoin Onchain Cloud stack and how to build on it from field builders. So let's start with the storage evolution. So everything started with IPFS, which was the peer-to-peer network, and you could pin your data and introduce the countered addressable internet. Then we wanted more cold storage, and on top of cold storage, we introduced the programmable cold storage with the Filecoin Ethereum virtual machine. And now we are at the layer 2, where you can start building programmable warm storage and also add modular deep-in services into your builds. So the vision of Filecoin Onchain Cloud, which is a new narrative from Filecoin, is to create a programmable marketplace for on-chain cloud services. So you can think of it like you can set your own SLA native payments, like how much you want to give to storage providers to serve their storage to you. So at the beginning it was just POREP, and now we have PDP, which is the main protocol that powers the Filecoin Onchain Cloud. Think of it that like POREP is the protocol that powers the Filecoin blockchain, but PDP powers the warm storage narrative that is built on top of Filecoin Onchain Cloud. And you as a builder can build more products on top of your storage services, like add more deep-in services like lead protocol or retrieval to your set of smart contracts that define your storage service. So here is a WAGMI version of the architecture, and you can visualize it as the SPs are the storage providers. This doesn't work. The storage providers, and then you have the orchestrator, which is the warm storage service that manages the payments between the clients and the storage providers. And at the same time, you have the PDP protocol that is the protocol that storage providers need to submit the proofs so that you know that storage is there and warm. And on top of that, you have the other deep-in services. One example is Filecoin Beam, which is a CDN version that gives you fast retrievals, but you as a builder can add more services on top of that. And at the end, you have Synapse SDK, that is the SDK that you are going to work on it to win for bounties. And this is a TypeScript SDK that allows you and abstracts all the complexity of this Filecoin Onchain Cloud system. Yes. So you can imagine that you can build your own service logic here in the middle, and PDP gives the events to your service about if the storage provider submitted valid proofs or invalid proofs. And based on that, you can enforce your SLA agreement and pay or not pay or slash the storage provider. Currently, there is only one storage service contract, which is the Filecoin Warm Storage Service. And this is the one that you're going to work if you're going to use Synapse SDK. But there are bounties also if you have more novel use cases for your service, like slashing the storage provider if she doesn't submit valid proofs after X amount of time. It's all about creating incentives for clients and storage providers. By creating the best service, then storage providers are going to opt in into your service. So yeah. Here you can find the Filecoin Onchain Cloud documentation, so you can scan it, but you can also find it at docs.filecoin.cloud. Here, if you want to store your files using your LLM, like using Cursor or Claude or your VS Code, you can just enable this MCP server and you will be able to do all the operations like upload, manage your datasets, get how much you need to pay for X amount of storage for X amount of days. And yes. And here you will find all the prizes that you can be eligible for winning the Filecoin Onchain Cloud bounties. So we can. So the bounties are split in two categories: the best storage innovation and best dApps powered by Filecoin Onchain Cloud. It's all about if you build an innovative app that uses Synapse SDK in a nice way, then you're eligible to win one of these two bounties. For more information, you can come into our booth and ask us whatever you want. But it's also about building on top of the Filecoin Onchain Cloud stack, building your own service, building on top of Filecoin Pay. More info into the booth. Here is the Synapse SDK docs, getting started at docs.filecoin.cloud. And here is the repository of the MCP server that you can find out here. And as you can see, you have a one-click button to add it into your cursor. The configurations, you need to provide your private key, and it has all the MCP all the platforms, the frameworks that support MCP clients. So we can have a look. Like if you go to the docs, you will be able to find out the quick start, but I have it here. Just make sure that you're using a type module. This is because the Synapse SDK is built using ES modules. So we can run it, npm run upload, and this will deposit USDFC on my behalf. 2.5 USDFC gives you 1 terabyte per month. So this code you can find in the docs. You deposit some USDFC, then you upload, and then we're going to download. And at the same time, I have the MCP enabled, and we can ask the MCP, get all my datasets and their respective metadata. So now it will identify that I need to get my datasets, and that's correct. And the MCP is going to provide all the files that I've stored, all my datasets. The provider that I stored for this dataset, and also the of the image that of the pieces that I've stored into this dataset. So we can also get there. So this is a retrieval just from the SP, but we can find out that there are datasets powered by Filecoin Beam, and you can see it because we can retrieve from here, and you can see that this is from the gateway of Filecoin Beam, which provides you CDN-powered retrievals. And you can imagine that you can add your own deep-in services, host your own services, and into your smart contracts using Filecoin Pay, orchestrate how the payments flow from clients to providers. You can have payments for storage, payment for retrieval, and you can build your services using programmability into your smart contracts and bring verifiability. So if you have any question, feel free to ask.
if my allowances expire in the Synapse SDK? So will I see one kind of a notification, or is there a functionality that I can increase that?
So that's a great question, and let me show you this one also. So you can find this application, which is on Filecoin Onchain Cloud app.netlify.app, and you can. This application gives you all you need, so that you can find the code. Is on GitHub under Field Builders, and it has all the logic to notify you after like 50 days before your storage runs out to top up your storage.
Thanks.
The mic doesn't work.
Hello? What? Hello? Working? Is it on? No. No, I don't think it's working. Is it? Can I? Oh, for the okay. Oh, okay. I'm very interested in encryption. Okay. So of course I can do my own encryption and then store here, but I just want to know if you have any like examples or use cases you heard about encryption combined with Filecoin. Just a recommendation, you know.
Like use cases for encryption.
Like, is there any special tool or another protocol? Like you mentioned lead, which is very useful for encrypting and protecting stuff, but I just want to hear if there's any like recommended way or tool or whatever to do that.
Yeah, I mean, lead protocol is a good protocol that you can use. And of course, it requires payments. They introduced the lead protocol token. So you can imagine you can have something like lead actions that orchestrate and verify the payments between the client and the storage provider. So instead of you having to pay, the users pay for their encryptions.
Okay, interesting. So it's like combining lead with Filecoin.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And you have the Filecoin Pay protocol that is a streaming protocol that is optimized for orchestrating services, payments for between the client and the service provider. It's not only storage provider, it could be whatever. It's a streaming protocol that is the only streaming protocol that allows native tokens, streams. And yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Another point is that you can imagine Filecoin Pay that as a use case that you want to pay, for example, Netflix in a stream fashion. So, and you want to define an SLA, you can have a cron job that checks the uptime of Netflix, for example. If it wasn't 99%, then you have a validate hook in the Filecoin Pay contracts, and you can pay less if there was like 99% of uptime. So that's one use case that you can think of it.